All right.
Yeah.
Part 2. Let's move it. Okay. So we've got a smart filter. We've got a stamp visible. We've got some adjustment layers, a background copy, which is a pixel layer, our background, which is also a pixel layer, and then we have a little text layer up here of our favorite new shortcut, Shift Command Option E. If you're on a PC, it would be Shift Control Alt E. Okay, so check that out. We'll leave that there. Now, we've got this stamp visible, and we're going to add a threshold layer. So we're going to go back into the adjustments and grab threshold. And you can see that that's going to take out even more of the photographic information. And I'm going to grab the properties because I want to be able to play with how much I leave and how much I don't.
What exactly is that doing?
This is just making it either black or white. Right? So again, this is kind of aggressive. One thing you might want to do is just check out the way the face looks and then change the layer blending mode from, say, normal to multiply, normal to soft light. There we go. So we're getting the coolness, this cool like graphic feel of the threshold, but we're not getting it like so aggressively. I'm bringing back some of the detail in his eyes and his crazy looking face. Okay. Now I can also reduce the opacity of the threshold layer if I choose, just by dragging it down or by typing in a number. When you hover over, thank you, Camtasia. When you hover over the opacity, you can either select this little pull down menu to drag this. You can select this to type in a number, or you see how the mouse has a double-headed arrow? You can drag, which is called scrubbing, to add it. Because I know, if you ask me, I couldn't tell you what number it should be. I just kind of scrub along and see what looks best. And if I'm like, 91, that's where it looks like that's the one I want. Cool. So now I need this layer and this layer to be a whole nother new layer without flattening. So what's the shortcut? Shift Command Option E. And that is your second stamp visible. And please be smart and name all of your layers so that you're not super confused as you go on. All right. So now I have that. All right, and that has added the stamp visible 1 and the threshold. So now I've got this, and I'm ready. Bless you. I am ready to separate the figure from the background. Okay, you guys ready? Really? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Fabs, got nothing over there?
Yeah.
You ready? You guys are the worst hype men. Worst.
It's too early.
I know. But pretend it's 11:30. This is going to be fun. This is actually a really super fun part. So I'm excited about it. We're going to separate this, and we are going to add our first color. So with the Stamp Visible 2 layer selected, right, that means whatever layer we make will be automatically placed above it. We're going to go to Layer, New, Fill, Layer, Solid Color. Now you may be like, well, how do I know what color I want? Well, if only we had a way to get palettes of cool color. So I'm just going to pick a red for now. And then I'm going to go to Window, Extensions, Cooler, and open it up. And let's see. You can put pop art in there. Pop art, and you will get dozens and dozens and dozens of different colors. So I say you can pick one of these if you choose, or you can make your own. Here's how you make your own. File, Place. And if you had an image that you're particularly inspired by, say the Andy Warhol Nixon, or the Andy Warhol Wiener Dog, or all of them, you know, or the Lenin, let's place the Wiener Dog. It'll come in the middle. Doesn't matter what size it is because I'm just going to sample. So I'm going to hit Return to place it. And then you'll see it placed as a smart object. And I'm going to grab the eyedropper by hitting I for eyedropper, and click on that really cool mustard. And you'll see it appears up in the color panel. So make sure you have your color panel. And then once you've got it, you can say, double click, make any adjustments that you need, add to swatches. And then you may want to call it Warhol 1. Okay, and then if you look at your swatches, at the very end, you have your new Warhol 1. All right, so I'm going to turn off that wiener dog because that was the primary color from there. I'm going to go to File, Place, and select Linen. Place it in there by hitting Return. Get my eyedropper. Get that fabulous red. Click over here, make any adjustments you need to, add to swatches. And let's call that Warhol 2. Okay, let's see if we can get, I'm going to Command plus in to get this fabulous fuchsia. Perfect. Add to swatches. Warhol 3. Okay, so that's, and then let's get the McGovern by File, Place. Let's bring in our third inspiration. Oi, that's gigantic. Hitting Return. And I want to get this tangerine because that's pretty great. All right. It's up here. Perfect. Add to swatches. Warhol 4. And then, let's see, I've got, okay, I'm gonna hit OK. These are the swatches that I have so far, so maybe I wanna put a blue or like more of a violet in there. So maybe I'll click on this blue. Now I'm not a huge fan of that blue, so I'm gonna make it a little more zingy by dragging it over and then adding that. Warhol 5. So now I have 5 swatches that I've made by using my Warhol inspiration. Okay, now, because we made a fill layer for this layer, I'm not stuck with this red. I just have to double click on this first thumbnail. This first thumbnail allows you to change the color. The second thumbnail is a layer mask. So click on the first thumbnail to select it, double click, and then let's go over here and say pick that wiener dog ochre. Hit OK, and perfect. Now we have everything we need for the background. Select the layer mask, select the brush, and make sure you have 100% black and white. If it looks a little gray to you, hit D for default colors. Now, if you start painting on the layer mask with black in the front, you'll find your boy. I have a hard time working this way because it's kind of a subtractive process. If you want, with the layer mask selected, you can hit Command I to invert it. And then you're actually working the opposite way. So you'll need to put white in the foreground. Sorry, white in the background. There we go. And then white in the foreground. And I'm just kind of, his hair, I'm not even sure what's his hair and what's not. I'm going to make the brush a little harder by clicking up in the brush icon. When I have the brush selection, the option bar is at the top, and you'll see I'll make it harder, make it a little smaller, and then just kind of guess like where his hair is. I can make it look as much like cool or jaggedy as I want. Go around here. And what I'm doing is I'm hiding and revealing. So the layer, whatever is black is showing through, whatever white is being hidden. So I copied covered a lot of his hair. So I'm gonna go back in. And we are gonna use this same technique for every single body part. And then X to toggle the foreground and the background and allow me to find his jacket. And then X, which will allow me to go back in. Make sure your brush has an opacity of 100, your flow at 100. So that's a pretty good start. Oops. If you turn that layer off, you can see we're just hiding all the noise in the background. Now he may have bigger hair, it's hard to tell. So it doesn't, again, it's not like, it doesn't need to look like a photograph. So we can go in there, right? So that is how you start. And actually that is how you do most of it, if not all of it. So let's make the eyes together. Tell me how to make a new fill layer. That's actually, if you go down to the page next to the trash, you will make a new blank layer. And you can paint on that layer, but you won't be able to change colors and it won't have a mask. So that was a good guess. We're gonna go to the layer menu instead. Layer, new fill layer, solid color. And say I'm gonna call this head. Hit OK. I can click on one of the colors in my panel and hit OK. And again, I like to work the other way. So I want to invert this mask by either hitting invert in the mask panel or the shortcut of Command I. This first thumbnail is for the color, so I can change it at any time. And this is the mask. Now, let's go get him. I'm going to go just kind of quick for demo's sake here. And you might be like, wow, that's pretty blocky. Doesn't really bring in any of that photographic detail. It does not. Don't worry if you want to go back and get the lips. I'm going to want to go back and get the lips and clean up the eyes and stuff. I'm just doing and I like actually when the colors start to overlay each other. And what I'm going to do is change this layer blending mode from normal to multiply. And then you can see where it overlays on the other one where the work isn't perfectly clean. It actually looks really cool. To get this eye back, just hit X. To get the lips back, just hit X. To bring this eye in, hit X. Again, you're just toggling. Yeah, I'm not sure about what to do with his face. His lips are so great in this. He would punch me if he saw this. And then you're going to do kind of the same thing. Layer, new fill layer, solid color, and say we call it eyes. And of course I want them to be blue. Select this layer mask, Command I, and then change it to multiply. Now, because it's blue and it's hitting this yellow, it is not looking just blue. You are starting to have what's happening with the layer blending modes, meaning they're changing the way that this color looks, this blue looks when it's applied against the orange and the ochre. You can also try soft light. You can try overlay. I don't know, I kind of like it multiply. If you don't like how you edited it, it might be cool if actually the whole inside here was green. Yeah, that looks cool. And then his eyes are blue and the insides of the screen are green. And then you do the same thing over and over. Why I want you to have these extra inspirational layers in here is because I want you to see how each of them are unique. This one here has additional drawing on top of it, so we will go through how to make a new layer and use the pencil tool. This one here actually has brush strokes, so you could make a stamp visible layer when you are all done and go back in with the mixer brush to add some of the effects that you learned in exercise 1. Okay. And we will add, we'll add different colored lines, and you can offset shapes. So there's a ton of things that you can do. But right now, I'd like you to just get started using these really simple techniques. We're going to be using fill layers and these layer masks to hide and reveal. No erasers, just all hiding and revealing. So at any time, if you're like, no, you know what, that mouth just looks weird. Oops. I can go bring it back. And I might want to try putting something over it. I might want to draw, start drawing. And let's bring the hair in real quick before I finish this video. Hair. And let's go over here. Okay. Now you'll see I have it below the eyes. In this case, it doesn't matter. I can change my order. And change it to multiply. It's starting to look pretty cool. Again, he's going to be really unhappy when he sees this.
He is.
Right? Like it's not The color palette's maybe not as gangster as he wishes it was. For the next demo, I will definitely use Walter, who's a much easier crowd. But you get the idea. And then in the next lecture, we'll go over how to add vector shapes and how to add some drawing. Okay? So this is enough to get you started.